All right. Hey, Patty. All right. We are rolling on the Zoom side here. Welcome, Patty. We are streaming into YouTube as well, I believe. And this is another installment of Get a Clue in 52. This is tip number 45 overall, and tip number 3 in the accountability section as a point of review. The book has 5 categories, and we started the year with communication, and then after we did 10 tips in communication, we went on to marketing, 12 tips in marketing, then 10 tips in sales. I mean, networking, 10 tips in sales. And now we're on tip number 3 in accountability, which is tip number 45 overall. We're streaming onto YouTube. I'm not doing live on Facebook today, just streaming into YouTube. My YouTube channel, Watch Get a Clue, all one word, YouTube/Watch Get a Clue. There's some goodies on there, some testimonials and some videos of AJ and some green screen stuff that I've done and some other content. So enjoy, watch, get a clue on YouTube. So let me go ahead and do a little review of the tips that we've covered in accountability so far. It won't take too long. And then we'll get into tonight's word for word tip reading. So accountability, if you have the copy of the second edition, accountability starts on page 101 with that fun little quote, "Nothing is insurmountable when I'm hugging you accountable." And then tip number 1 is in the accountability section is to look within. Don't endeavor to do anything accountability related unless and until you've looked within. It's always an inside job, right, Patty? Inner business. Patty is the inner business coach. So when we're talking about looking within, Patty is a really good person to talk to about that. Now, tip number 2 is with what we read last week. And boy, was it a fun tip for me. Understand integrity. Starting on page 5 and Get a Clue in 52. It's not just a great tip in the accountability section, but it is a point-by-point preview of the new brand that I'm working on, the Integrity Game. As a matter of fact, in version 2 of the book, there's a preview chapter of the book that I'm working on now, The Integrity Game. And the Integrity Game is a 10-point model of personal and professional growth. It's Integrity Game is comprehensive, but there's a lot of freedom within the framework. The Integrity Game can be played in one-on-one coaching. It can be played in trainings, workshops, keynotes. It can be played in 4 to 12 player versions and peer advisory. It could be, we have solo versions like single player games, which would be e-products or info products, e-courses, books, right? So whether you're a solo player or you like to play in groups or in teams like peer advisory or group mentoring or group coaching, or one-on-one coaching or trainings or workshops or retreats or facilitation, it's all the Integrity Game we're playing, trying to up level the collective playing of integrity and stay playful as you're doing it's hard, the integrity is it's a difficult thing. It's one of these things that usually people accuse others of not having, but if we combine look within with play the integrity game, we're going to have a better foundation for accountability. So back to the context of this book, without going off onto the deep end about everything integrity, let's just understand these 2 tips. First, look within. Number 2, understand integrity. Just stop there and you're doing pretty good. Okay, well, we got 8 more tips to go. So, and one of the points on the 10-point model is tip number 3 tonight, goal setting. It's actually shows up as point number 4 on my 10-point model of integrity. It makes its a little cameo appearance in tip number 3, because tip number 3 is potential. And when I'm working with clients, business owners, solopreneurs, micro business owners, entrepreneurs, top producing sales professionals, C-level executives, when I'm working with any of those clients, and it's time for them to declare their potential, we break that down into 4 ways: vision, mission, objectives, and then goals. So goals shows up in the potential loop, the one of 10 loops on the model, and goals has its own loop. That's how important it is. As a matter of fact, I will tell you that I have a corporate soft skill training library, dozens and dozens of titles: train the trainer, be a likable boss, develop business acumen, risk management, emotional intelligence, train the trainer, all these different soft skills. And what we're talking about tonight, tip number 3, goal setting, it shows up as either a sub-module or a module in so many different soft skill trainings, right? You'd think it's a different training because it's a different title. Goal setting is so important. It's hard to really articulate the enormity of importance that goal setting has in any personal or professional growth journey. Having said that, let me go ahead and read tonight's tip. All right. Page 110, tip number 3, get smart, SMAART, about goal setting. And stick with me here because when I was exposed to goal setting, and I'm going to explain this in the tip, I'm sure. When I was exposed to goal setting, it was SMART, and it was cool. I'd never heard of it before, but once I started thinking about it a little bit more, I thought, well, it's missing a thing or two. I'm a big fan of motivation plus accountability equals results. Motivation plus accountability. And it dawned on me early in my career as a coach, trainer, speaker, facilitator, that SMART goal setting, as I understood it, as it was originally taught to me, was missing clear motivation and accountability infused in the goal setting process. So that's just a little preview of what I'm going to try to explain in this tip. Let's see if it comes out as good as clear as it is in my head anyway. All right, here we go. Are we ready? Patty, how are you, by the way? How you doing?
I'm doing great. It's good to be here. I don't know what happened to Charlie. He was worried about the difference in time.
Oh, you know what? This has happened before.
But I went over it twice, so I don't know.
Well, Charlie's out there in good spirits somehow, some way. All right, here we go. Page 110. All right. As with integrity, when asked, most people will tell you that they set goals. This is because they are confusing a hope, a wish, a dream, macro, or a task, activity, or commitment, micro, with a goal. Second, most people are unaware how vast the studies are that have been conducted on high-achieving individuals that reveal 100% of them to share the habit of goal setting, but also tell us that only 3% of the population sets goals. When I speak and train clients on goal setting, I make sure people understand the 5 reasons why we fail to set goals. And one of those is that we don't know how. I personally never learned how to set goals in school, which was bad enough. But then when I finally did learn about goals during my coach's training education, I learned to make goals SMART: specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time-bound. In turn, making them accountable. I was thrilled. What a difference when we add specific, measurable, and time-bound as criteria to what we want. That's the difference between a hope, wish, dream, and a goal. A specific and measurable what happens by a specific time-bound when. But there's more to the model, parentheses, the A and the R in parentheses. And yeah, but there's more to the model, the A and the R. And soon this seems a little, this reads a little clunky. Is it me, Patty, or does this read clunky?
I think you could put soon when building my own coaching practice.
Yeah, or soon developed into, or soon when, or yeah, there's something missing there. I got to make a note. But there's more to the model, parentheses, the A and the R in parentheses, and soon into, and not too soon or early into building I should say early. That would make it better, right? Early into building my own coaching practice, I realized there was something stupid about SMART. Just kidding. I mean, there was something redundant and a couple things missing. Let me explain. The original A is for achievable or attainable. And one way to know that our goals are achievable is if we believe we can achieve them. Belief is a feeling of certainty that something is true. So if we believe we could do it, then that becomes our reality. We can do it. Therefore, if the goal is achievable, parentheses, we believe we can, and that's our reality, in parentheses, then it is also realistic to us. And that makes the R in SMART redundant. It doesn't stand for redundant, which is ironic, right? It just makes it redundant. Okay. Are you tracking? Back to word for word. page 111, third paragraph down. Are you tracking? When I'm helping clients set goals, I hold them accountable to only setting a goal that they truly believe they can achieve, not the goal they know they are going to achieve no matter what, but the one they know they can achieve, even if it will be difficult or require effort. Hold that thought. Visit www.theklubrary.com for free and for pay content, including real-life examples of me coaching people on goal setting. Meanwhile, another problem I saw in the model were two things I felt were missing. One, ambition/willpower, and two, motivation or the why of the goal. Meaning, with the original SMART, SMART criteria, someone could set a goal of achieving something predictable or that they are already going to achieve anyway and think it's a goal. Meaning someone could set a goal that meets the SMART criteria without having to change behavior. Someone could technically set a goal of brushing their teeth twice a day for 30 days straight, something they are likely to do anyway, whether they call it a goal or not. In the coaching business, we are interested in helping people get results they don't already have, which means they need to change behavior in some way. And if so, then their goal is ambitious. The second A in my model is for the ambition it takes to decrease, increase, start, or stop a behavior. But doing the same thing over and over, expecting different results, as we all know, is insanity. So when it comes to goal setting, make sure you are aware of a behavior that needs to change in order for the goal to be achieved, or it's not really a goal, is it? What about the R then? The original SMART model uses R for realistic, which I think is redundant, but also leaves why or motivation out of the model. So I changed the R from realistic, which we established is covered by achievable, to reason/reward. Because in the words of Simon Sinek, it is critical to know your why. When I work with my coaching clients to set goals, I hold them accountable to declaring as much why they want the goal as possible. Again, visit theklubrary.com, right? THEKLUBRARY.com for free and affordable e-courses and e-courses. Oh, e-sources and e-courses. Oh, isn't that cute, Patty? E-sources and e-courses, right? E-source instead of resource. And anyway, here we go. They need to have more reasons to want to achieve the goal than to give up on or procrastinate on it. If we have just one reason for doing something, we might get around to doing it. But if we are clear on 5 or 6 reasons why we want something, we might be unstoppable and certainly more willing to be held accountable. I would like to think I have made SMART even smarter. And to make it even smarter, you add the E for evaluate and a second R for revise. My mom taught me that humans plan and God laughs. Therefore, it is important to periodically check in on the progress you are making or make room for unexpected life events that occur and evaluate/revise your goals to make sure they are always achievable and relevant. If you'd like to get smart about your own goal setting, consider sessions with a Get a Klu coach, which, by the way, it's funny. I'm not going to be calling them Get a Klu coaches anymore. They're going to be integrity game coaches, or the self-paced e-course on smart goal setting I recorded. Again, visit theklubrary.com for free and affordable e-sources and e-courses. Learn it, live it. All right. And then down here with this little picture, Klubeck loves conducting goal setting workshops where no whiteboard is safe. And in this picture, you can see me, the picture of the SMAART. And I don't know if it's coming through, but I draw that coffee filter analogy, right? Where imagine a coffee filter and imagine the microfibers of the filter all being labeled with an S, an M, an A, an R, or a T. And then we identify the areas that cannot stay the same, put them into the filter. And then what comes out after we put the hot water in is a what will happen by when. And the hot water question usually is, what's the greatest thing you can achieve in the next 3 months? Very simple. What's the greatest thing you can achieve in the next 3 months? And then whatever that thing is, you want to make sure it's filtered through, screened with, is it smart, specific, measurable, achievable? Is it ambitious? Do you have to change behavior in order to get it? And why do you want it? Why do you want it? Why do you want it? Why else do you want it? So if you're filtering your desires through the SMART criteria, you're on your way to better accountability, and you're infusing motivation into your goals. You can be held accountable to what motivates you, right? And on and on. But most people, they're just managing their lives by themselves. They don't talk these things through with a coach that's somebody trained in the sensibilities of accountability and integrity the way that I am. So we love working with people. There's a very affordable, I think the SMAART goal setting course on the Klubrary is $19. There's a perfect time in November to start paying attention to goal setting. And why wait till January? If you wait to January to set goals, it's too late. You want your goals already set so that you hit January 1, like hit the ground running. And now's a good time to be thinking about goals and calibrating your goals and working on your goals, drafting goals, sharing goals with somebody else that can ask you the questions. Are you being specific? How would you measure that? Do you believe you can achieve that? What behavior do you have to change in order to achieve that? And then why do you want to achieve that? And do you want it enough for enough reasons to change behavior? Do you want it for enough reasons to be held accountable? Do you want it for enough reasons to be vulnerable and share it with others and be, right, be held to account? For most people, the answer is no. That's why personal professional growth is not for everybody. Anyway, I digress. Let me go ahead and invite Patty to your microphone's opened up. Do you have any comments or questions tonight about SMAART goal setting? Or anything, by the way.
Well, I like that you added that extra A, because I do feel as though people often don't go for a big enough goal sometimes because they're just not conditioned to think ambitiously. I was just at an online Jack Canfield event, and he talks all the time about big, hairy goals, big, audacious goals.
Hairy, audacious goals. Yeah.
Well, and I mean, that doesn't necessarily mean they're going to be smart, right?
Well, yeah.
But the ambitious part is covered by that concept.
Well, here's what, let me feedback on that. I'm more careful about this inside of a coaching session than I am just reading the tip tonight, right? But if I may, let me be a little bit more careful. And I say this all the time inside of coaching sessions. When I say ambitious, I'm not talking about the size of the goal. Okay, I'm not talking about the size of the goal. That's covered with the achievable part. Okay, let me give you an example. And you've heard this example before, Patty. I know that you have, but it'll be familiar. You'll recognize it when you hear it. If I'm on achievable, let's say I'm working with, you've seen me do. I think you've seen me do this.
Real estate.
You got it. Yeah, I asked the real estate agent. Yeah, I asked the real estate agent how many transactions did you do last year, and they'll say 12. I'll say, what's your goal this year? They'll say 18, and I'll say, great. Can you do 180? And they go, no. I said, well, can you do 19? Yeah. Can you do 137? No. Can you do 20? Probably. Right? Can you do 93? No. What about 22? I don't know. That's starting to make me nervous. So for me, ambition is where I'm holding them accountable to set the goal at the threshold of their belief. And if Charlie were here tonight, I'd ask him to note this as a Kluby snack. My job is to hold you accountable to living on the threshold of your beliefs.
I like that.
Thank you. That's a new one, right? Right.
I believe it is, and I do think that as you were reading this, I thought about hitting the believable a little bit harder, but now that you've added your Kluby snack.
Yeah. So that's the idea, right? Like, it's like, oh, I don't believe I can do 25. Okay, but do you believe you could do 24? Well, I don't believe I will do 24. But do you believe you could? Yeah, I believe I could. The idea is this is not, I didn't make this up, but I'd love to coin it as a Kluby snack. We always behave consistent with our beliefs. Right? And so the trick is that what I don't like about the BHAG, the big, hairy, audacious goal, is it tempts somebody into setting something that they really don't at core believe. It would tempt them to set it big for big's sake. hairy and audacious for hairy and audacious's sake, but not setting it for the realm and within the threshold of my belief and what I believe I can do.
So say that again about the belief
Are
and
you ready?
action.
Yeah, we always behave consistent with our beliefs. So if I'm in a rah-rah online or in-person environment and I'm caught up in the moment and I see a great speaker on stage and I'm in the seminar environment and I'm feeling like I'm supposed to stretch my comfort zone and be an action taker and all these things that you and I both know get seed planted from the minute you get step into the conference till the end, then I might be tempted to set a big, hairy, audacious goal. Oh, a big, hairy, audacious goal. I'm going to walk on the moon without a spacesuit by the end of next year.
Right.
That's big, hairy, and audacious, isn't it?
Yeah. A little unbelievable, though.
But I don't believe I said it, but I may be motivated. But at core, do I really deep down inside from head to toe believe I can do that?
Right.
Now that's where it gets into gray area, right? I have another story that I tell about. It's in a true story about a guy named Terry Fox, the guy from Canada, who he was a world-class athlete. He was on his way to going to college, multiple sports, wrestling and this and that and the other. And he got some sort of cancer where his leg had to get amputated. And he decided that he was going to raise money for cancer and awareness of the certain disease. And he was going to run across Canada, border to border, on one leg, which everybody in the world told him at the time was impossible, especially without a mobile hospital running behind him. And he had like a van, with very limited equipment. And, and he ended up raising over $1 million. But I think as the story goes, he died. He didn't make it. So the truth
died on the actual trip
on the trail. Yeah, I believe on the trail he died, or like he had to quit because of complications, and which led to right. And the specifics are he didn't finish, right? What he'd set out to do was impossible in 1977 with the limited technology and the cold and the conditions, and but here's what's amazing about this story. He believed he could. You want to talk about integrity? Somebody that dies living their life the way they believe, for what they believe in, and give their life for it, for what he believed in, for his cause. Right. Now, so the truth is that it was impossible, but he did believe it. So what did he do? He behaved consistent with his beliefs. He actually went on the road and started running. He ended up achieving, and so that's what they mean by big, hairy, audacious goal. It's like, hey, you may never get all the way from from coast to coast in Canada on one leg, kid, but you'll raise a bunch of money and your name will be immortal because of your efforts. So, they say, reach for the moon, you might grab some stars.
I've heard that one.
You've heard that before? I don't like that. To me,
I don't.
To me,
kind of unrealistic. It's why people have trouble with affirmations, because they might say one, but their unconscious reacts against it because that belief isn't in parallel.
And so you have to keep saying it until you believe it, or keep believing it until you say it,
or you have to say an affirmation.
Yeah, it's the integrity of you have to integrate belief.
Yep.
So what I mean, what I mean by this, Patty, and is we cover this. Let's put it this way: we cover the size of the goal. Me, in my model, I cover the size of the goal with achievable.
Yeah, no, I understand that. Thank you for clarifying.
Okay. Ambition has nothing to do with the size of the goal until and unless we say that if you have to change behavior, this is now the biggest goal you've ever worked on in your life, right? In other words, the enormity of the goal isn't in the measured achievement. It's in identifying and changing a behavior. That's what people need coaches for, is support with behavioral change. Support with behavioral change. But behavioral change is hard. That's why there needs to be enough R, reason, enough why. And people need to be clear about all the reasons why, so that they have the willpower, the discipline, the motivation, the vulnerability, the accountability to have their behavior changed. Right? So, like, you know, it's like I said in the example in the book, if somebody's brushing their teeth already twice a day, and then they come and sit in a session with me and they say, oh, my goal is to brush my teeth twice a day. Well, it's like, you're already doing that. You don't have to change any behavior in order to do that. All we need to do is count. So sure, there's accountability in the goal. Change your behavior, you know, brush your teeth twice a day for 30 days straight, so we can count that, measure that, and document that. But that's not a different result, because there's no different behavior.
Right. Or if they're doing it anyway, not really ambitious, right?
That's it. Ambitious. Ambition is not, you know, that's the thing. Because of the word that I chose to keep it in letter A, because I wanted smart to stay smart, but I wanted smart to be smarter.
I know, I
didn't want to come up with a new letter for the acronym and change the word entirely, right? So I chose ambitious. And basically, to me, like, if you're willing to change behavior just because you have ambition means you want something better than what you have.
Right.
You know, there's people that are earning $1 million right now, and if their goal is to earn $1 million, that's not ambitious. They're already earning $1 million. Right. So yeah. So in my model, ambition is about changing behavior. It is kind of, you know, when I think about it, it's kind of like marketing. You know, I say it all the time. It's like, look, if you don't need to change behavior, you don't need me. If you want to just get off the phone with me or get off the Zoom with me and then go do all the same stuff you've been doing prior to talking with me, then,
right.
You know, but people talk to me because they want to behave differently. They want to be better at communicating. They want to get a result faster. They want to avoid mistakes. They want to build better habits. They want to, rewire their brain. They want to stop procrastinating. They want to, you understand.
I understand, because I have clients that they've thought about doing something for years, and it isn't until we can work on the actual steps that are part of what they want to do that they can get to the finish line, so to speak.
Yeah, and it's interesting too, because sometimes we just focus, if we're just talking about goal setting, we can just focus on behavioral change. But you and I both know that as soon as we identify the behavior and figure out when the rubber meets the road, are they afraid of doing that behavior or not? It's not even the behavioral change that we need to take care of. That'll come naturally if we take care of the inner business. What's the limiting belief? What is the trauma? What's the fear? What's the emotional addiction? What's the but? What's the, anyway, so what are the spiritual lessons that haven't been learned yet? So that forward movement to that other place isn't possible until these lessons are learned, because they'll keep coming back. So sometimes it's all of that, for people as well.
I'll share, you just said but, right? So I had a couple clients.
The yabbits.
That's the say but, and I go,
the
wait
cells
a minute.
In our body, like but.
I get to do a pattern interrupt on that one, because I go, Yabbit's the name of my dead dog, and I don't think we're talking about him.
That's so good. How long have you been using that?
The first time I heard somebody in a coaching session say that, that's the first thing that came up, because I was that kid. I don't even remember being able to talk, but I know mom would tell me to do something, or dad would tell, and I'd go, yeah, but blah, blah, blah. So when we got this little puppy, that's how it got named.
It's the truth that you had a little dog named Yabba?
Yeah.
That's crazy. I think that's wonderful and wonderfully cute. Because the Yabbats are what I call the voices that emerge from the cells in our body that want the negative emotion that they've been getting all along, instead of the positive emotion that's waiting for them on the other end of the new behavior.
Yeah, I don't know if as a little kid I was so much like that. It was more like I kept seeing the other side of a situation.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah.
But I mean,
Well,
it's the difference between, is it a excuse or is it a reason? Well, yeah, excuses are reasons, but it's sort of like delving deeper into them, right?
well, yeah. That's I think where the training yes and comes from. Right. So like I love that the mind the gap. What's the difference between an excuse and a reason? Well, one of them exists and the other one doesn't. Reasons exist, excuses don't.
Right.
You follow? I think it's kind of interesting. So along the same lines, yeah, but if it's a reason, then it's yes, then it would be yes, and the reason I'm not going to do that is because, right? But if it's yeah, but it means any reason that you just gave me for doing it doesn't count in exchange for whatever I'm going to say. So there's one's a resistance and the other's an explanation. Um, it's like I was having this conversation the other day with somebody about when Marianne and I were in Martha's Vineyard, Patty. We jumped in the ocean at midnight, because the event was relentless, and so there's a couple of adventurists there. Got one guy climbed the highest peaks on all 7 continents. Another guy, he was a mountain climber and ice baths and submerged and mental toughness. And they were like, "Hey, let's all jump in the ocean at midnight." And everybody was like, "Oh, okay." But after a while, like everybody had to go do it, right? Just because of the collective and whatnot. And the
Did
things,
you
oh,
go
you could
down
do.
to Lambert's Cove?
It was in Lambert's Cove. Yeah, we just drove a little. That's where we were. That's the beach that we went to, Lambert's Cove, and we all got undressed, jumped into the ocean at midnight, and put our clothes back on, and went back and held it around the fire. But I brought it up because I was talking about it with somebody. It's like, why would you do that? And I was explaining, oh, well, you got to do it after a while. It's like, well, it's not like I can't do it. So I just don't want to. I know I could do it, but do I
Right.
want to do it? Like, why? Like, how does my life improve? Like, what do I get out of that? It was a fun conversation. Difference between, like it's a subtle difference between believing you can't do it and just knowing you don't want to do it, even though you could do it. I did. I didn't want to do it. I did it. And that was the other thing too. I didn't want to do it until I wanted to do it. No, I didn't do it until I wanted to do it. Does that make sense? At first, it's like, all right, well, while they're all going down and doing that, I'll be here to host, to talk about blankety blank. And after a while, I was like, well, no, I actually would rather go do it than not do it. But it's still, you always behave consistent with your belief. Always
I
behave
like
consistent
that
with
one.
belief.
I'll give it
Yeah.
to Charlie.
All right, cool.
I have all kinds of notes. He's got to alphabetize them in order to make sure we aren't missing any Kubi snacks, because I got Post-its all over with Kubi snacks.
Yeah, it's gonna be wonderful to corral them all and
I'm
organize them.
organizing all my Post-it notes. I'm changing my behavior.
Yeah. Oh, guess what? Speak of the devil. Here he comes. Hey, Charlie.
That's funny that he showed up just now.
Hi, Coach Jeff. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. We're close to wrapping up, but we'll stay on a couple more minutes for you. We've already read tonight's tip. We start where our clocks got moved back.
I know that I was actually scheduled, but this load shedding we just come on now, and I've been struggling to connect. The signal hasn't gotten good enough yet. And my batteries aren't fully charged, so it's okay. I'll catch up on the replay.
Okay,
so I'm good.
All right.
Okay.
Well, this is Get a Clue in 52. We read tip number 3 from accountability, number 45 overall. So there's only 7 weeks left in the year, you guys, and I'm very excited about finishing up the book, The Integrity Game. I posted online 4 different draft book covers that are out there. Patty, I did get your email, by the way, about your offer, and I want to take you up on it. So let's talk about that this week
great.
and see what that looks like. I mean,
You want me to schedule an appointment?
Yeah. If you can, that would be wonderful. And I would say this also, just really quick, the version that I sent you, I don't know if I sent you the most recent version, but any version that I send you is in Microsoft Word. So like you, Patty, of all people, right? If you're in there and you just want to start doing stuff, I'll hit track changes and I'll see what the changes are. And I'll just
Well, let's have a discussion first, okay?
Okay, yeah, that's fine. That's fine. I was just gonna say, if you want to get in there and type, no, you're not going to ruin anything, is what I'm saying. And then I can accept or reject changes pretty easily. But yeah, let's have a talk. And that'd be great if you schedule that. So yeah, get a Klu in 52. Tonight we talked about SMART goal setting, and I added an A, changed the R, because I was excited that SMART goal setting was about accountability, but it dawned on me early in my career it was missing motivation, which included like behavioral change, and like you need to be motivated if you're going to change behavior, and you need to be motivated if you're going to allow somebody else to hold you accountable. So you need to be motivated to be vulnerable, motivated to be counted, motivated to be confronted, motivated to change behavior. And the regular SMART didn't screen for that level of motivation. So that's what I was doing when I changed the R to reason or reward and added the A for ambitious to figure out and help people figure out and focus in on what behavior needs to change in order that this goal will be achieved. And then we talked about being cute, adding the E and the R at the end, making SMART smarter and making it even smarter by adding the E and the R, evaluate and revise. And it's important to check in on your goals and see what kind of progress you're making and be willing to make adjustments, etc. So that's a brief review off the top of my head of what we were talking about in tip number 45 overall. Tip number 3 in the accountability section. 7 weeks left, 7 tips all in accountability, and we'll finish up Get a Klu in 52. Cross your fingers for me, guys, that I'm going to get a 3rd edition of Get a Klu in 52 written and published and ready for week 1 of January. I'm on a tight schedule, but let's see what I can do. I've got the 52 tips outlined. And I just need to I need to do some writing. I've got the 52 tips already outlined, but I got to write them and fill in and then format the book and get it ready to publish. So cross your fingers that I can get that done. I'm trying to actually get 2 books finished by the end of this year, a 3rd edition of Get a Klu in 52 and the integrity game, which we previewed in the 2nd edition of Get a Klu in 52. So cross your fingers for me. Wish me luck, you guys.
It'd be good if on the 3rd edition you had a Kluby snack in each one.
Well, there's going to be Kluby snacks that are going to show up in everything I do. And then ultimately, I think that it could be, if we get 52 Kluby snacks together, we could just do Get a Klu in 52 Kluby snack edition.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, and
I'm trying to integrate.
I'll give you a hint. You guys want a little preview? The Get a Klu in 52. If you guys want to take a look, I'll just show you. I believe it's going to be the entrepreneur edition. Get a Klu in 52, 5 new categories, 52 brand new tips. And I'll preview them for you right now since you guys are here. This is kind of cool. You guys want to see this?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
All right. So here it is. So here are the 5 categories: personal branding, business acumen, entrepreneurship, leadership and influence, and work-life balance for an entrepreneur edition. So those are the 5 categories, and 11 tips in branding, 10 in acumen, 10 in entrepreneurship, 11 in leadership and influence, and 10 in work life. And there it is, Patty. Do you see that? Proventional ways to work instead of conventional.
I saw the pro before.
Yeah.
Can you do work-life integrity?
Well, balance. I don't know. I could do it integrity. This is a draft. I could change this to integrity instead of balance if I wanted to. Still drafting everything. But look, I got my work cut out for me. I have to write like a page or a page and a half for all 52 of these tips. You guys think I could do it?
You got it covered.
Absolutely.
You got it covered.
And I've offered co-authorship opportunity to this one on this one to Vipul. So it very well be it's more than likely. He's agreed verbally, but I sent him the tips. Let's see if he likes these tips and wants to work on them with me. But wouldn't it be cool if the 3rd edition of Get a Klu in 52 was co-authored with Vipul? It was an entrepreneur edition, and now we have another reason to get online together for another
I know,
52 weeks.
I like the idea because I don't want to see this end our little jam on Sunday night.
Yeah, well, Sunday
I'm
nights
very used to it, yeah.
and he's going through withdrawal because he's not doing his Tuesday night thing anymore. It's like the third week in a row that he's not doing his Tuesday night thing, and so I'm like, well, he's like, I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know what I'm going to do, and I'm like, well, what if we co-author a book? I'm not going to do a third edition with the same 5 categories and the same 52 tips. So it just made sense to me that it was a win-win-win-win-win to brainstorm what is something that makes sense for he and I both to talk about together, where we both have our own unique perspectives. He being, a serial entrepreneur, and me having coached so many of them, in addition to being a little bit of an entrepreneur myself, not on the level of Vipul, but I've done some entrepreneurial stuff, and I have my own business, and I've bought and sold businesses and so forth, owned little pieces of other businesses. So I've got my input. I've got things that I can share on entrepreneur edition of Get a Klu in 52. But Vipul will have a lot of interesting insights and anecdotes from his real life businesses. So all of the tips that I've outlined, he should have some real life examples of from inside of his businesses. So I'm excited about it. And that's a preview. There you go. 7 weeks left of Get a Klu in 52 as we know it. Second edition of the original work. And then, I see down the road, I could do Get a Klu in 52 real estate edition, Get a Klu in 52 estate planning edition, Get a Klu in 52 self-confidence edition, Get a Klu in 52 workplace management edition. I could see ultimately, 10 years from now, having 10 different editions of Get a Klu in 52. So if you're out there and you're interested in co-authoring a book with me around 52 tips, an edition of Get a Klu in 52, I'll do a lot of the writing and, position you as a subject matter expert. And we could do the co-branded marketing of doing Zooms to promote the book. And it's a little tiny model, and it's fun, and it's win-win. So why not? All right. Get a Klu in 52. Any other comments, questions, or anything for tonight before we wrap up our weekends? Or Charlie, your Monday morning, your week is off to a good start. Any comments or questions or anything before we dismiss for tonight?
No, I'm just saying thank you, and fortunate that made it. I made it for my Klubi snack. You're not giving away this way.
Yeah. So what did we talk about, Patty, right before Charlie came on?
We said that we always behave consistent with our beliefs.
Yeah,
so I don't know how you make that into a Klubi snack.
We always behave consistent with our beliefs. The tricky part is that we can believe anything.
Yeah, it is very tricky. Although we could delve into belief greater.
Yeah. The other Klubi snack, Charlie, if you want to write one down, is my job as a world-class coach is to hold you accountable to living at the threshold of your beliefs.
Oh yeah, that was the other one. See, there we have a door metaphor.
Threshold.
Which we could really elaborate with belief.
Yeah, the idea is I never want you to set a goal that crosses the threshold of your beliefs, but I also don't want you to set any goal that doesn't challenge the threshold of your beliefs. And that's a beautiful Klubi snack.
Poor Charlie, he came at the end, he gets it all.
Yeah. Goal setting should challenge the threshold of your beliefs without crossing them. That's another way to say it.
I think we've got that one somewhere, Coach Jeff, but I'll just look it up.
Yeah, well, as the archivist, you'll let me know.
Yeah, Charlie, you have to figure out how you're going to alphabetize this so we can see if we have duplicates or missing any.
Well, I've put them into different categories, and I'll just I'll find a way of sorting it. Don't worry.
Yeah. I'll be excited when we get, if we have 60 to 70 of them, then we're ready to write a book of 52 Klubi snacks, because some of them aren't going to be as good as others. So you want 70 so you can leave 18 out and really go with your best 52, right? But,
well, I think I've got more than that.
Well, we're working there. We're on our way. Anyway, I appreciate the fun that we're having with it, and I can't shy away from the Kluby snack thing. It's just lines and slogans and phraseology. It's just something that's always been fun for me and easy for me to do, and I'm glad that it's got some meaning and some impact as well. All right, any other last call questions, comments, suggestions? Get A Klu in 52 before we sign off for tonight.
Just a report back. I counted 49 questions in last week's tip.
Oh, 49
Wow.
questions.
I just did it really quickly. I didn't get quite that many, but I didn't do it. I was doing it while
Well,
Jeff was talking.
you've got to be aware of tip number of achievements and contributions. There's a whole lot of dots, which is actually the question.
That's what I only counted the question marks.
Yeah, I'm a dot guy.
Yeah, and then when I went through it, I went like dot. No, that's a question.
Yeah.
And then followed up into the next one. I said, no, that's classic Coach Jeff.
Yes, thank you.
Dot.
Nice.
Yeah,
wow,
I just counted that as one.
That's I'm not gonna elaborate on it tonight, but isn't that fascinating and wonderful that in one tip out of 52 tips, I actually put 49 questions into one tip.
I know, and guess what that tip was?
Understanding integrity.
But I need
interesting.
I actually went over it 3 times and read carefully, and I said, wait a minute, I'm so close to 52. Did I miss something?
3 more questions.
Did I miss something? Was there something here that Coach Jeff did with the 52?
Well, isn't it
that's funny.
It's well, listen, the Integrity Game book is being written. It is so close to being done. It's not going to be a Get A Klu in 52. It's a business parable that's going to change your mind about accountability, or get you thinking about accountability differently. But anyway, that's great, Charlie. Thank you for that. I don't know if I would have guessed 49 if you asked me last week how many questions are in there. I would have thought 20 something, but 49. That means there's nearly 5 questions per point on the model.
Absolutely.
So that's basically that's the way you play the game, is to always have and update your best answers to those 10 question sets.
Yes,
that's the integrity game. And I can't wait till I come up with a board game and an app and a card deck to facilitate exercises in the workshops. All of that stuff's coming in the works. It's going to take years and years to roll it out the way I really want it rolled out, but what a great journey it's going to be. And thank you guys for being on it with me. All right, Get A Klu in 52. Last call is done. Thank you, Charlie, for the reporting, and Patty, and for your attendance and contributions and soundboarding and dialogue. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome, Coach.
Love you guys so much. All right, and we'll see you next week. Have a great week.
Nice
one. See you later. Here we go. Ready? Here we go. All right. We'll see you guys next time.
Have a good week, everyone. Bye, Patty. Bye, Coach Jeff.
Bye.